on and look for another company to run the restaurant.
You ever wonder why bad things often happen to good people?
I've wondered that a lot after sitting down with the Bandera family you're about to meet. Faced with the possible death of a child, they didn't dwell on their sadness, but rather sought hope through their faith. And what they found is that friends, family, and an abundance of love can bring light to the darkest of days. Zachariah Springer was like any other 12-year-old boy. He loved sports, especially karate. He was a whiz at chess, too, sometimes lucky enough to beat his dad. Yes. But Zach's luck soon changed.
It started with like muscle and joint pain. And at first, my husband and I tried to play it off as growing pains.
Turns out, Zach wasn't growing. The Saturday before Father's Day last year, Zach went to see his doctor. The nurse gave Zach an asthma treatment. The doctor listened to his lungs. What he heard frightened him.
Dr. Jafar heard crackling in the lungs. So luckily, he did a chest x-ray, and he saw what they call snowball effect in his lungs, and it's where all these little white clouds or balls are in your chest x-ray.
Only a few hours later, Zach was lying helpless in an emergency room, bleeding in his lungs and kidneys. Doctors say Zach's prognosis was grim.
The doctors started coming to us and telling us he's not going to make it. They can't stop the bleeding. His hemorrhaging won't quit. He wasn't expected to pull through.
So in the course of 24 hours, you went from going to get an asthma treatment to finding out your son might not live.
Exactly.
Zach's family turned to their faith for strength. That night, a friend who just happened to be a preacher stayed with Zach and his parents in the hospital, and they prayed.
We thank you, and we give glory and honor in the name of Jesus.
Then something happened.
And the next morning, Zach's chest x-rays and everything had improved so much. I mean, they were all just in awe. They were just amazed. They couldn't believe that that was the same chest x-ray.
Zach survived that long night in the ICU, but his fight wasn't over. He was still very sick. What was wrong with him? Was it some rare illness, a strange disease? Doctors finally arrived at a diagnosis.
It's called Wegener's Granulomatosis. It's a rare autoimmune disease that basically is where your body is fighting itself.
There's only a handful of doctors in the country who even know what it is. And whether by luck, coincidence, or what some believe to be something more, a doctor who knew quite a bit about the rare disease just happened to be driving through Castroville, of all places, where he picked up the small-town paper. In it, he spotted this little mention of a spaghetti fundraiser to help Zach's family with the growing pile of medical bills. The name of Zach's disease caught the doctor's eye, and he tracked down Zach's parents.
Called the number in the paper, got his in-laws, got our phone number, and called us at 8:30 on a Saturday night and asked what he could do to help.
Turns out that doctor, Dr. Sunil Ahuja, miraculously had been on the staff at the National Institute of Health in Maryland. It's one of the few places in the country, even the world, with staff who knows how to treat Zach's disease. What are the odds?
He got us the referral. We took him Zach's medical records on Tuesday, and that next week we had an appointment in Maryland. Now, you tell me that's a coincidence. God put him in that place to do that for us.
The Springers made 2 trips to Maryland for treatments. After months of steroid therapy, Zach almost became unrecognizable. But prayer, publicity, and perseverance by his doctors paid off for Zach. This is Zach before, and this is Zach now.
I was fat, and then now I'm back to skinny and everything.
His disease is in remission. What are the positive things you've taken away from this?
How your community and your church and your family and your friends are really there when you least expect it. Sometimes when you're overwhelmed in a tough situation, you forget to step back and look at all the positive things. He was on prayer chains from here as far away as Russia. And I know that God listened to those prayers. He answered all of them.
Zach lives every day knowing it could come back, but there's a message he wants to send.
Pray to God every night and keep a positive attitude. Even if you're not having a good day, just try and act like you are, because then it's like, I did that a few times, and then it's like you're just tricking your mind, and every day's a good day.
If you'd like to send an email to Zach and his family or learn more about the disease, head on over to our website at WAI.com.
American